Good morning, everybody. Thank you for being here today. We have a very special speaker, but before we get into that, we are doing a photo shoot. So it looks a little light. My wife, last time I spoke to her, she was getting her hair done by a friend. So for those of you who don't know, we are going to be having headshots taken for free back there later today. So thank you, Brent, for putting that on for us and paying for that. Let's kick it off with a tell me something good. What good happened in your businesses last week? Clark.
We have three new agents that joined us.
Three new.
Yeah, Tikel Stevens, Atlanta, Georgia, Evan Nunes here locally,
Okay.
and Denise Marsh in Tehachapi.
Wow. Well, welcome. Hopefully, if you guys are online, welcome to the team. Welcome to EXP. And then what else? Anything else? Any other wins? So I know Haley got a new escrow. Where's Haley? Where is Haley? She's getting ready for the headshots. So Haley got a new escrow this week. Another agent, Bang, on our team had a new escrow this week, and he might have a second escrow. And then Valerie put up a $2.4 million listing in Shingle. So if you have any buyers in Shingle, it's a really pretty piece of property, and it won't last long. We're getting a lot of interest on it. With that, let's move into the upcoming events. Oh, before we get into upcoming events. So this number, if you are on the MLS, if you look up any of the agents that claim this office as their office, that number automatically is populated in the MLS. We did that 12, maybe 15 months ago, because that number used to be Brent's personal cell phone. And so Brent, who typically uses that number is an agent. They're calling to see a piece of property and they can't get a hold of the listing agent. So then they call the office number. Like it's a 1-2 sequence. 1-2, like no wait, 30 seconds. So Brent was getting a ton of calls about properties that he doesn't even know what's going on, if he was even answering the phone calls. Okay. So 15 months ago, we changed that. So that way our team is at least answering the calls and saying, hey, this is just an office line, call the agent directly. What happened maybe, I don't know how long ago, maybe 7 days, 10 days ago, is some agents have started using this in their public facing marketing. So on postcards, on signs, on your business cards, oh my God, social media posts. Do not want to do that because we are not an answering service and we simply cannot. There's 1,000 local EXP agents. We don't know who everybody is. We're not gonna hunt you down and find you. What will happen is if that lead comes through as a buyer or seller, we will funnel it to somebody on Brent Gove's team. Brent's paying for all of this, so it's going to an agent on Brent Gove's team. So please, please, please. And I called Brent personally about this. I said, hey, how do you want us to handle this? He said, if they want to receive the lead, their number should be on the marketing. Okay. And so what you can actually do is, one, use your own number, and then two, if you're even nervous, right? It's a simple fix. Two, remove it from the MLS. You can actually go in. I was working with Gary and Steve just a second ago. You can actually go in and even remove the office line from your profile in the MLS. Just a quick tip. You can do that. If you have any questions, reach out to PCAR and they can help get that situated for you. Any questions on this? Just want to make sure there's no concerns. We're not trying to steal anybody's leads. We're not trying to poach anything, but again, we can't be a service, phone service for 100, 200, 300 agents. All right, moving on. Headshot clinic later today. If you haven't registered, go ahead and register right here. The people who registered will get priority.
There's only one spot left, so it's full other than that.
And it's full other than that. All right. Well, there you go. Steve's
Steve?
going for
Are
it.
you
Steve's going for it.
Trying.
Go, Steve, go.
There we go.
You get it? Okay. All right, on to the next one. ADUs unleashed. So Nikki is going to be speaking on ADUs. About once every 6 to 12 months, we have somebody come in and speak on ADUs. Nikki has not done it yet. You guys seen the ADU billboards, like turn your backyard into a money system or whatever it is? I'm Kat. She's going to be talking about how you can do that and how you can help your clients with that. I know one guy specifically is going through Old Town Roseville. He is specifically looking for properties that butt up to an alley and that have a large enough lot, because those older homes typically have larger lots. So he's specifically targeting those people because he wants to build an ADU and increase the value of the home and then rent out the front house and the ADU. So again, she's gonna be teaching us more about that. That is happening next week, and then the week after, so by like popular demand, Carrie is gonna be talking on AI. So we've heard from Phil. What we're gonna do is we're gonna have a sneak peek. We're considering her for PCAR, speaking at the PCAR, and what she's gonna do is she's gonna speak for maybe about 15-30 minutes about how to use AI in your business in a way that makes sense for real estate agents, not like some theory or, works for doctors, dentists, and HVAC installers, but specifically for real estate agents. And the reason why we chose her is because she's actually working with EXP Corporate. So like Glenn and them respect her and trust her enough to employ her services. She's got enough to speak at one of our realtor calls. So that's happening the following week. And then week after that, we have the legendary coach, Bill Pipes, is gonna be speaking at PCAR. He will be here for lunch afterwards, but his schedule is really, really tight. So make PCAR and then come here for lunch afterwards. Did anybody come to the lunch last week? Right, the open house, wasn't that fun? Like a lot of people, there's a hum, you're meeting people and getting to speak with, and engage with the people that are on the top producer panel. This will be Pipes coming up on April 17th. Is there anything else?
One more,
One more?
Lisa.
Massey, so Zip Forms, New Forms Editor Training. She's gonna be speaking on that briefly, April 24th. So the following week. So anyways, a lot of great upcoming classes, a lot of upcoming content, and that's all we have on.
Johnny, these are all posted on the Made for More site or
Yeah, Made for More, Eventbrite.
Brent Gove site too, right?
Not Brent Gove.
No,
No,
not on
no.
the Brent Gove side.
Brent's above this.
I thought
It's beyond this.
local events would be on it.
Yeah,
Only the PCAR ones.
the PCAR, because that's what his focus is, the PCAR.
Cool.
Like connection. Right. All right, I think that's it. So up next, we have our in-house lender, Mr. JJ Mack. JJ, please tell us what's happening in the wonderful world of lending. Give him a round of applause, everybody.
Gladly, lending. I love lending. It's great. So interest rates have been good, and we want to talk a little bit about that, but then I'm really excited about what programs I want to share with you. But interest rates, we've just been seeing this flat line now ever since last week when the Fed came out and they said they're going to keep rates where they're at. And so that's exactly what they did, and that's exactly what's happening. Things have been pretty steady Eddie. And because of that reason, we have seen the uptick in refinance business kind of slowed down a little bit, but we are still seeing a decent amount of people taking out cash because they're having problems paying off their debts. Still, credit card debts are continuing to rise. So I can tell you, I can guarantee you this, your clients right now that you help put into houses, they're still pulling open credit cards. They're still having a tough time. So reach out to them, because more than likely, if they can get some of that debt paid off, they're probably going to want to sell and rebuy at a later date. So let's help them get that debt paid off so they can go and buy their next dream home. With that being said, I wanted to share a super cool program with a lot of you guys. I think I've probably already spoken to some of you about it, but I am very excited. And one of the things I wanted to ask you first is, have you ever put in an offer and gotten turned down because your offer was contingent?
Yes.
Yeah.
Right? I didn't even say it yet. And they was like, yes. Well, if you have, and I'm sure all of you have, I've got a program that is going to make it so you don't have to worry about it anymore. And what this is, it's a buy before you sell program. And this isn't just any buy before you sell program. It's not like the bridge loan. It's not like hey, let's just try and finagle it somehow so you can buy it and then not be able to afford it. This actually works and works well. I want to share with you how this works. And over the last week that we've gotten this program, I've reached out to our real estate agent and I've received 8 new clients because of it, just from calling real estate agents and saying, this is what we have. They said, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? I've got a client, call them right now. So we called them up, we got them pre-approved, and now they're out there putting offers in, not contingent. And so how it works, we've got this new investor and we will allow them to purchase their new home without using the debt obligation from the last one. The home they're in today, I do not have to count their debt. So it's an amazing way because it allows them to qualify for that higher priced home that they would usually qualify for after selling the home. Now, what you're probably asking me is, well, that's great, JJ, But the whole reason we're selling in the first place is so they can get the money from it. So how we handle that is we have a home equity line of credit company that will allow them to get a mortgage on that property, their departing residence, and then pay it off very quickly thereafter, once they sell the house. So I can get you the money, you can buy the new house, go non-contingent. We have the file underwritten, so you have no loan contingencies. You can write no appraisal contingencies too if you want. But that's how we do it. And the other cool thing is you don't even have to have the property listed. It can just be intended to sell or to list within the next 90 days.
On the house first.
Yeah.
Wait, you said no contingencies?
Yes, no loan contingencies needed.
So if you had an offer on the RPA, you click off cash. Does it look like that?
I mean, it's still financing, but it would just, you, in the loan contingency section, you just put no loan contingency needed. Just sign it off. Yeah,
How much does it cost to run? So like home line, it's like 2 points, I think, and then I don't remember the details with it, but
yeah, so this is why it's so cool. There's no extra costs. And so there's no points. This is just a regular type of a conventional type loan. So they're not going to charge you any extra points or fees on the back end. It's just our standard underwriting fee that we have on every single loan, which is
what's the
$695.
percentage of equity that you get for it? Like, is there a percentage?
Oh,
right? So-
for down payment?
Yeah, so if their house is worth 7.
Oh, for the,
75,
yeah.
and the purchase price of the new house is worth.
So they're not necessarily going to be looking at that. It's only if you need the home equity line of credit. So if you can qualify for the new home without having to get the HELOC on the last home, they're just going to go looking, on their own little CMA thing. And as long as you have equity in the property, they're going to be okay with it. 10% equity, fine. Obviously if you're over leveraged, they're probably not going to do the loan. But as long as you have some form of equity. Now, if you need the home equity line of credit on that, you do need to make sure that you have at least 90% loan to value after you get the home equity line of credit, which most people do right now. There's a lot of equity out there. Ryan,
Is this specialized just for your mortgage company?
How long you have to sell the apartment listings?
yeah, so you don't. That's the cool thing is you have to have the intent to list within 90 days of the new purchase. Now, if your intention ends up changing later on, well, your intention has changed. But this investor will say, we will give you this new loan as long as you intend to buy.
So there's no other proof than just your verbal, I intend to sell in 90 days, that's
Yep.
it?
100%. A letter from the client saying, I
Okay.
intend to sell my home in 90 days.
Standards are low.
It's awesome.
Pieces of it is that HELOC closes in less than 5 minutes.
You're saying it's,
So we can do it simultaneously. We have one going on right now. It's a 25-day escrow. Started his HELOC the same day we started his purchase, day 1, had money in 5 days. And we didn't need to extend the close of escrow period. So it's a fast, easy way to do things simultaneously, which is beneficial for people, so they're not pulling out equity and sitting on it, waiting to get the contract on the property. We can do it at the same time.
that's 2 questions. So I have a scenario in Rockland right now. They have 200,000 in equity. They're gonna downsize. The mother has a baby and she's not going back to work. So she's got 200 in equity, but she needs to sell her house for the equity, right? So we're gonna close simultaneously one after the other. So is that what you're referring to, is pull the equity out before we're looking for
Pull
purchase?
the equity out, don't need to count the debt of the HELOC or her current mortgage, buy the new house. If your intention is to sell the current house anyways right away, then you just pay them off.
Okay, and then my next question, which they're gonna be asking is, when you close, typically your mortgage is like 60 months after. Is that?
Same thing, yeah.
Rule of thumb?
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Depending on when you close in that month. So yeah, if you close today, it's like the end of the month, you're not going to have your payment all next month. It'd be the month after. So you're trying to get that home sold within those next 30 days after closing, so you don't have 2 mortgage payments. And also, just so you guys know, if you do list the property today, obviously I can't get the HELOC. The HELOC only comes if you don't list it first. So we got to make sure it's not listed. to get you the HELOC. So this is only if you wanted this client said, I don't want to do anything. I want to be long gone out of that house. And then I'm going to have somebody come in, one of you guys, and Steve's going to come in and, make sure we repaint the houses. We put the nice staging furniture in there. We sell it top dollar because you're out of there. And as Johnny said, it doesn't smell like enchiladas in the house anymore.
Are you hating on enchiladas?
Enchiladas and Brussels sprouts.
When you sign a HELOC, do you have to say we're not gonna sell them the next year?
No.
Or
Not,
just
not,
one?
not this particular investor. His name is Rinnen. It's an AI-based home equity line of credit. So basically, there was no underwriting on it at all whatsoever. It's all online. I send the information in. A lot of times, it's only bank statements required. I send it in 5 minutes, I have loan approval. In 3 days, the loan's closed.
So the rate's gotta be higher, significant.
It's like 10% right now, 10%.
Situation, you're probably not even making a payment.
Getting rid of it in a month or two.
Yeah.
So let's run through some use cases.
On just the HELOC. So if it's $100,000, it's $2,500 to be able to do that. And then to be able to get money in. 3 to 5 days is
2%
not
home
easy.
loan.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
It's a. kind
Of
of
the
a
whole
no-brainer.
thing.
So let's run through some use cases. JJ, if somebody was wanting to buy a new construction home, it was contingent on them having the funds to sell their existing home, could they use this program?
100%.
Okay. If somebody was wanting to, they have kids and dogs and everything, and the house is always messy, they don't want to have to place a contingent offer on the next home, they can use this to write a non-contingent offer on the next home, move out, move the dogs, move the kids, the house is now clean and ready to go. Can they do that?
Yes.
So
That's the best case scenario.
best case scenario. What, anybody else working with any buyers right now that they can think of, like, hey, would this work for my buyer?
It works really well, yeah, with seller right now, but the problem is we're running the home light is you can't be over a certain amount of acreage, you can't have septic, you can't have rural property.
Yeah, and those are gonna be case by case. Just if you want to send me the address, I can send it to the investor.
It's kind of the same deal here, they don't want rural or.
I don't know if they care about it. I haven't looked at that particular guideline.
Because my client had like 5 dogs, 20 cats, so.
That's okay.
You can't sell the house.
Underwriters won't discriminate against cats. One more quick thing. I know, get Alex up here, but,
What about if they're self-employed?
yes, so, yeah, dude, great question. I was just gonna talk about that. So, client right now, use case, I'm doing this right now. I called over to, you guys know Tim Calma spot down in Sacramento?
Yep.
So we know some people down there. I called the agents down there. I said, hey, I've got this program. You should check it out. She's like, oh, I've got this guy right now. You need to talk to him. So I call him up. He's like, you're never going to be able to help me, man. I was like, why not? He's like, I'm self-employed. I'll write off all my income. I said, oh, shoot. Well, wait a second. I remember something. Give me your 12 months most recent bank statements. Get the 12 months most recent bank statements. I add them all up, divide it by 12. These guys making like $80,000 a month in income. Only because I can use bank statements versus tax returns. So this investor will also allow for a bank statement loan, not only just your standard conventional type stuff. So now he's going out, he's getting his home equity line of credit. He's buying his new $1.5 million property. This is not just conforming loan limits. And he's able to do this when he thought he was never going to be able to do it before.
I have one more question. Without this program, so will this lender or this, what is he?
This investor, yeah.
He do the bank statement loans for, cause I got this client that makes like 22 million a year. And.
He doesn't need it.
I don't want lenders to call my butt, I don't want my credit, I can go out and buy a $500,000 tractor right now and they'll just sell it to me. This guy,
Yeah, we use bank statements. He's got that much money coming in, then he probably doesn't need a loan, but if he does need a loan, I'm more than happy to help him with it, yeah.
Send it to me, Brent.
So,
I'll help you.
just on, so if you do this and you decide not to sell the original property and rent it out where it covers the payment, you could also use this to build your.
Yeah, like so I was saying earlier, it's like they want you to intend to sell the property, but if your intentions change afterward and you say, I think I might want to rent this out and make some money on it. Well, there you go.
You don't have to,
You were right. You're right. So,
could build with that.
yes.
Great question.
And so I know there's a lot of stuff out there. And so, feel free to come talk to me or send me email, text, whatever. And then, all that stuff about, you know, the down payment assistance and the FSBA yesterday. If you guys have questions on that, or Cal half the new program stuff, I have all sorts of information. I'll share it with you maybe next week, or if you want to chat later, let me know. Otherwise, I'll give it back the mic to you.
All right, thank you so much. Wasn't that awesome, guys?
Thanks, guys.
That was worth the price of admission right there. So, without further ado, we have Alex Dyer. He was on the radio show. He's doing AI, and he's be talking about specifically bold trails, right?
Bold trip.
All right, all right. Round of applause for Alex.
All right, we're gonna do a screen share. So Bold Trail was KV Core. They're rebranding it to Bold Trail. It's still through Inside Real Estate. As EXP agents, we all have it. So I don't know how many people in this room are using their Bold Trail KV Core, but it's part of your $85 a month technology fee. And so if you're not using it, come to my class on Friday. Every Friday, we're right here in this room. Steve's my wingman, and we sit there and we go over different aspects of the platform. So I started this 3 years ago. You know, we New Vision switched over to EXP, and you know, Bold Trail was sitting there, and I thought, well, what is this thing? Let's learn about it. And now we've taken it over the last 3 years to the point where we have the Bold Trail Academy, and we sit here every Friday and we talk about different aspects of the platform. What we've done since the first of the year is I've done 12 weeks of lead gen. So Brent's team came to me and said, Alex, let's focus on lead gen. Let's use the platform and show agents how they can generate leads using the tools within the platform. Some of it is paid for, most of it's free. It's just a matter of using the platform. And so that's what I focus on. We screen share. I'm in Chrome right there. And so this is the Bold Trail Academy on the school platform. And I try to post all my content here, and that's the QR code to join. And so what I do is I will have different links, content, prompts, because I use a lot of AI in how I use my Bold Trail. I shared a prompt where you can go in and search for Roseville real estate on Google. And then you scroll down a little bit, it says people also search for these terms, and you get it up to like 20 terms. You put that into an AI prompt, and you have AI write an article with top ranking SEO terms. I don't write the prompts. I use Phil Stringer's prompts. I took his class. And you use that, you write that blog, you tag it the right way, you put it into your blog using Bold Trail. And then you take that blog and you put it into your social channels, and it's working within the platform. And so that's really what we focus on. And so with the platform, I have these classrooms, and this is the 12-week lead gen series. This is going to be the 12th week tomorrow. I'm just going to wrap the whole thing up. What we did in the beginning is we said, look, we want to keep these to 30 minutes of just really focused, intense on what our subject is, so that you can get in, you can watch the 30-minute video and be able to go into your Bold Trail CRM and use that tool. And so we get really granular with it. I started out with the essentials. You know, what do you need to do to get started using the platform? What are those first things you need to do with your settings? What smart campaigns do we want turned on? And so that's where we started it. The landing pages. Now, when I went in and did the landing page segment, I learned about landing pages. I was using landing pages, but by going in and looking at it more granularly, I've taken my landing pages to the next level, because I went in and taught that week 2, and I was like, wow, there's a lot more of these landing pages. So that was a good journey for me. And I share that with you. Share that with you in week 2. Squeeze pages. You know, I go through all these. Squeeze pages is one of the coolest features of the platform. I go in and I demonstrate how to use those squeeze pages. You can send out all the area open house for whatever area you're marketing is. One thing I talk about using Bold Trail is digital domination of your farm. So if you're focused on Granite Bay, say you're like, I want to be the Granite Bay realtor. If you take and focus your lead generation, your blogging, your squeeze pages, open houses, property boost, all of it in Granite Bay, you're going to build a massive database of clients in Granite Bay. And when you go into maybe a listing appointment in Granite Bay, and you have maybe 50 Granite Bay buyers that you originated through your social activity and your property boost, and you sit down with them and say, look, I have all these buyers in Granite Bay, and they're all in your KV Core database, and you can show them this. That's what we go through within the digital domination. But I can go through each week, but they're there on the school platform. And again, I encourage everyone to sign up. It's free. You do have to create an account. I'm thinking about turning it into a paid for platform, but you know, we need to scale into that. Mainly, I'm just trying to get this information out. Shifting gears, I've been doing a lot of one-on-one agent coaching. And so what I'm finding out there is that there are some big agents. Like I have an agent that came to me through the platform, a Remax agent in Southern California. This woman's done some really significant production, and she's never maintained a database. She never has. And she's like, Alex, I don't even know where to begin. I'm embarrassed, you know. And so anyway, I said, okay, well, this is what we'll do. And so with her, I had her go into her MLS, and I had her search her agent ID for all of the activities she's done back to 1990. She came back with almost 1,000 transactions she was associated with. When I went into her KV Core and looked at complete contacts, I looked at a complete contact, obviously being a name, a phone number, an email address, and property address. She had 13 complete contacts. So we have an agent that's been associated with 1,000 transactions that has 13 complete contacts in her KV Core, and 13. And she was embarrassed. She goes, this is why I've never database, because I don't even know. I mean, that mountain was so tall, she didn't even know how to start climbing it. And so what I did was we took that historical production and we downloaded it. We then uploaded it into Title Toolbox, which Title Toolbox.
Oh, hey, Alex.
Yeah. And Title Toolbox matches it up with the current owner information. And then we appended it with email addresses and phone numbers. We came up with, I think it was 75% hits. So she had 750 contacts that we then uploaded into her KV Core. And I did all this for her. And she was like, are you sure about this? I go, well, they're your data. You've already transacted with them. And this is what I've been focusing on throughout my 12-week series, is something called permission marketing. It's a book. I forget the author's name, but it's basically how Amazon became the biggest retailer. And we're doing the same thing as realtors. And I pointed this out to her. When you have a lead come in, when you have a transaction that you complete, when you establish that relationship, you are given permission to market to them, permission to email them, permission to text them, permission to call them. And we as agents, I'm finding, aren't taking advantage of that. We're not respecting that enough. And so I pointed this out to her. I said, look, you've already been given permission to market to these people. You're not going to be spamming. It's not going to be considered spam. You're not going to be cold calling because you already have that relationship. So we uploaded it into her database. Then she came back to me and we spent 90 minutes one day. And I showed her how to go through and start calling and turning on the automations of KV Core. How many transactions do you think she got in 90 minutes working with me? She picked up 4 listings. She picked up 4 listings and she's like, Alex, this is amazing. I just didn't know. So that's the discovery that I'm going through. I always looked at agents out there, big producing agents, and put them on a pedestal and thought, wow, they must really have all their stuff together. I can tell you after working with agents, very few of us have our stuff together. You know, very, very few of us. And I think that right now, with the market being slow, you know, we're just came off the worst production year since, what was it, 86 or something like that. What I would tell everybody is instead of shifting gears and saying, okay, the market's slow, I'm going to go do something else. I say, take this time right now to get your database together. Get it together. If you want me to show you how to download your historical production and go through that, I'll help you do it. It's not hard to do. But go into your phone. I was with an agent the other day that had 7,500 contacts in their iPhone. They had less than 300 contacts in their KV Core. I'm like, who are all these people? I don't know. And then I went into the iPhone and I looked at how many categories they had. And there was no categories. There was nothing. It was just 7,000 contacts. And I'm like, okay, well, why don't you go through your contacts and organize it? You know, if we're not out there doing big production right now, go organize and mine the data that you've already generated. And that's my big message to you. And this comes from working with agents one-on-one in this consulting capacity that I'm doing. And it, like I say, it was eye-opening for me to look at some of these agents and go, wow, they've done great numbers, but they're always out there originating that next client. And with KV Core and databasing in general, instead of always out there chasing the next client, why not go in and build relationships by using the tools that I covered in those 12 weeks to, now that you have permission, now you can go and market to them. And that's really what the Bold Trail Academy, that's what we've arrived at in teaching. We go into digital domination and all these different aspects. But once you have your data uploaded, it's a matter of then making it a habit. And I'll tell you for myself, I got 2 more listings this week that will be going on. I have a whole list of buyers I'm working with. I'm truly busier than I've ever been as an agent, along with doing the Bold Trail Academy. My week is full. I mean, I literally don't have an open spot in my week because I also have my agent coachings that I've scheduled in. In fact, I just scheduled one for 1 o'clock today. An agent from Southern California contacted me through the YouTube channel and said, look, I need this. But once you start engaging, you'll see your business pick up. Gary Meek was doing the CSU agent accountability, and within that agent accountability, it's reaching out and calling your clients. You know, a lot of agents that I have worked with, they don't call their clients because they feel the conversation's awkward. Like, well, what's awkward about it? Well, I just don't know what to say. With using KV Core Bold Trail, take JJ Mack's loan program that he just highlighted. JJ, what if we made a template about that loan program? Put it into your KV Core, maybe wrote a blog about it, and then turned around and did a mass email and sent it out to all your buyer clients. And then when you're doing your agent follow-up, you call your buyer client and say, hey, I sent you this email about a blog that I did on the special loan program, and I just want to make sure you got it. Starts that conversation. Every Friday at 4:30, I send out a market update to my database. I was at Rayleigh's in Loomis a couple weeks ago, and I had someone come up to me in the produce aisle and start having a conversation about real estate. I had no idea who this person was, guys. I didn't. But they saw my YouTube. They're in my database. I don't know why they're there, but they're there. And they watch my stuff every week. So the consistency that I've disciplined myself to use the platform and send out this information, it works. It works. It doesn't work overnight. It takes time. But like I say, in this market right now, if you have extra time, go in there and sort through your iPhone, download your past production, and start using that permission to reach out to your past clients and really foster business and build relationships. Because at the end of the day, as realtors, we all look at the end goal of buying and selling houses. But really what we're in is the relationship business. And if we all had a dozen solid relationships with clients that did transactions with us and referred us clients, when they're standing around the water cooler at work and real estate comes up as a topic, if you're top of mind and you're getting those referrals, maybe you got 5 referrals a year from each of those 12 clients. Would you be busy? You would. And that's the reality that I've reached, is that, by having my database together, having the AI turned on within KB Core, committing to a content schedule that I'm sending out, putting into my social, I'm blogging, I'm emailing it, I'm texting it, I'm making time to call. I call 3 days a week, do it in the afternoons, sometimes I do it in the evening. The real traction is when you pick up the phone, dial those numbers. It's scary sometimes, and you make those phone calls. That's where you really get traction. Steve.
One quick question, on KB Core, approximately how many things that the system does that helps lead gen? The question that I'm really getting at is, it can't be that many. So if each week someone comes into the Bold Trail Academy and learns one specific thing on how to use the system, about how many weeks, if they just focused on one a week coming to the Bold Trail, would they be pretty proficient at the system?
So it depends on what your relationship is with technology. I find that some agents are like all thumbs. I don't want to deal with this. So it's a matter of slowly introducing the different aspects and figuring out what makes sense to them. And what I mean by that is that we all have a different interpretation, a different intuitive relationship with technology. And what I've learned to do is sit down and kind of interview the agent, kind of go through where they are with technology. And then I'll put them down a path to say, let's try this first. I get some agents that come in and they pick it up right away. Like, boom, I can do all this right away. But I think the number one thing I would recommend everybody do for lead gen is to blog once a week. Who's blogging in this room right now? I got one blogger. You blog once a week about the narrative that you want to set. Who are you as an agent? Are you a first-time home buyer? Are you a move-up agent? Are you empty nester? Over 55. Who are you as an agent? Go in, use AI to build a marketing program, to come up with a content list, and start blogging about that consistently once a week. And then once you have that blog done, you put it on your social channels. You put it on your Google business page. And then you email it out every Friday. You email out Ricky Caruth. Everyone know Ricky Caruth in Florida? He's spoken at PCAR. Ricky Caruth says, look, email every Friday. Send that communication out. I would say that's the number one thing I would recommend people do with their database. But obviously, you have your database uploaded to do that. So Any questions?
So,
Steve?
so how many contacts are you saying that you're making, like kind of not picking up the phone, but contacts that the system's making for you with the client?
So within KV Core, there's AI that's turned on. And when I should say automations that are turned on, not AI, automations. And when I have a client that comes back and revisits and they haven't been active in 2 weeks, there's an automation that sends them a message. Once they look at the property, there's an automation that comes in and says, hey, we noticed you looked at this property. And then it also alerts you of the property. Did I answer your question?
Yeah, well, I was just thinking like, if you set up something that's like, kind of a working in the background for you, that drip campaign, so
Yeah.
you're kind of always top of mind.
Yeah.
How
So
many times per month are
so-
you trying to touch clients?
you have to be really careful. The system is so robust that you can oversaturate your client
Yeah.
and they will unsubscribe.
Yeah.
And I know personally, I get a ton of spam text, a ton of spam email, all this stuff. And it turns me off. And so what I look at with the system is how am I adding value? And so to that point, the automations I turn on, with new leads that come in, I have a new lead smart campaign that I turn on. And I've built the smart campaign from some of the principles that Tom Ferry teaches. I'm a big Tom Ferry fan. I was at the Tom Ferry event, what was that, 2 months ago? Great content, and I still have the link to all of those slides. If you guys want them, just hit me up. I have that link. But I have that campaign that goes out, and using Tom Ferry's principles, it's really engaging and asking questions to solicit a response. Once I get that response back, I turn off the smart campaign. If they're a buyer, I'll turn on the listings, so they get automated listings. And the automated listings coming from your KV Core, they're all digitally branded under your footprint. It looks like you built a website for every single listing on MLS. Those are automatically sent. So I have them listings going out. I'll turn on a market report. So if it's a zip code, if it's a county, if it's a city, I'll send that market report out. And then if they own a house, I'll send out basically an equity report. It's called a listing valuation. And it is just a report on what their house might be worth, similar to a Zest. I turn on those 3 automations, and that with my weekly email to them, I'm sending out roughly 2 contacts to them a week. And I think that's enough. But if it's a new client, I'll put them on that new smart campaign. I do have an empty nester campaign I put together specifically for empty nester properties. I have a neglected database campaign that I built based on a speaker that came into PCAR. So if you are one of those that don't have your database uploaded, I have a campaign that I've built so that once you get your database into KV, you can upload this smart campaign into your KV, and you can start sending this out. And it's engaging. It's a mixture of email, text, and phone calls. So that's where you pick up the phone and say, hey, I'm reconnecting with you. I've sent you this text, this email, and you start making that contact again. So you really have to gauge the client. But just with those basic automations, we call it the cotton play. It's on my community site under the classrooms. But yeah,
This week for Friday, what's this week's?
so tomorrow we'll be right here in this room at 10 o'clock, and we're going to wrap up the 12-week series. And Steve and I are going to go over each of the 12 weeks and just summarize in a half hour what it is that we've covered. You ready for that, Steve?
Ready.
That's right. Question from the.
What are the 3 automations that Alex uses along with his Friday email update?
jump on the Friday seminar, you're gonna learn.
That's right. So you guys join me, yeah, no, join me tomorrow, 10 o'clock. I'll also put it onto the Bull Trail Academy and those recordings. But yeah, for those specific questions, just join me tomorrow. I'll go over that in detail. All right, that's what I have for you. How am I on time?
We're good.
One of the things I'm gonna point out to all you guys, the Bull Trail is such an important thing to be part of. We're literally teaching you something each week so you can apply it. And for example, a squeeze page and a landing page. If you build one, what Alice is showing you how to do is so it's evergreen. So if you build it this week, it stays updated next week and then put another one out there. So what we're trying to train you guys to do is build a massive digital net in your farm. It doesn't happen in one day, but in 12 weeks, 24 weeks, you're gonna have a substantial digital farm. That's how to win this game.
Yeah.
So just plug in every Friday morning with us and learn one thing.
Yeah, and you know, I keep all the recordings out there. I do have my YouTube channel. If you guys want to join my YouTube channel, you can join it. My content is there. I'm also on the Facebook. And then I just started on the EXP worksite. I put a channel there. I have 5 members, so I just started that this week. One of my challenges in doing this is that you have to sit there and post all of this stuff and all these different channels. It's just like, I need a VA. All right, that's what I got for you guys. I'll see you here tomorrow at 10.